All right. We got a lot to unpack. Trump speaks. Trump and J.D. Vance clap back at Kamala Harris after her DNC speech. And RFK, he endorses Trump. Let's see how that works out.
On behalf of the Arizona Freedom Caucus,
in Arizona today,
action to this incredible Arizona.
Oh, I got a lot to unpack today, man. A lot.
Anybody else?
We're going to have a talk today, man. Double tap the screen on the way indoors.
Well, look, I want to just ask you one question as I begin. Who here is excited to see the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump? You know, I guess I got one more question while I'm at it. Who here is excited to force Kamala Harris, the cackling Kamala Harris, into retirement?
Corrupt Kamala.
And who here is ready to save America?
Every Friday, tonight at 11 o'clock on MacMean TSTV. That's my other channel. Go subscribe there too. It's on. Word.
Just had their convention, and I found a few things ironic. You know, they hate President Trump. Found a few.
My bad. This part right here. This is what I'm saying.
Well, look, the DNC, the Democrats just had their convention.
It's live right now.
A few things ironic. You know, they hate President Trump's border wall.
Thank you, DMW shot.
They erected 3 walls around their own convention.
$70 million they spent on security alone.
Talk about hypocrisy. You know, Democrats, especially Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they talk about defunding the police all across America. Yeah, that's right. All across America, they've tried to defund the police to make our communities less safe, to allow fentanyl to just flow in freely. Yet the Democrats spent $75 million on police to protect themselves. Well, and look, as America First conservatives, we care about election integrity, don't we?
I thought it was only 70 million. It's 75 million. I didn't know that.
He's going to be on this stage a little bit later, and we are going to secure our elections here in Arizona. But let me tell you, the Democrats, they hate photo ID to vote. They say it's racist. They say it's classist. They say all the things bad about photo.
If you need your ID to go get a pack of cigarettes out the store, why not have an ID to vote?
ID when it comes to voting. Yet guess what they required to enter the Democratic National Convention? They required photo ID. So I guess they didn't have any minorities in the room, right? If you listen to the left. Well, friends, I got to give a big thank you to Turning Point Action, to Charlie Kirk, and to Tyler Boyer for building the largest ballot chasing operation in the history of the Republican Party. They know that if we don't chase every single ballot, if we don't get low propensity voters,
that's sad. That's fucking sad.
Out to vote, we may not prevail in this election. And so that's why they've hired thousands.
Trying to jack this shit from right up under our nose. We already know how they did it with Trump. They say that Trump started rallying the people to go against the government and shit. All false.
Thousands of staff. They have tens of thousands of volunteers to make sure that every last vote is counted. And who's it going to be counted for? Let me hear it. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Who's it going to be? That's exactly right. Now, friends, in my final seconds up here on this stage, I want to remind you of just a couple of quotes from our founding fathers. Patrick Henry said, "Give me liberty or give me death." Nathan Hale, he was an American patriot and a spy, and he got caught by the British. And as they were executing him, he said, "My only regret is that I have but one life to give for my country." These men and women of our founding generation, they fought for our liberty with their lives. And for all of you, I ask you, you don't have to give up your life. You just have to give up a little bit of time. You just have to get involved and commit to chasing 100 ballots. I want everybody in here to go to tpaction.com/commit100 and commit to chasing ballots so that we can deliver the White House for President Donald J. Trump. God bless you all.
All right, let's we gonna get back to this. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be jumping all day. I do want to show y'all some shit, man. You know, today we gotta go through it, right? And I do want to be so transparent with y'all. I'm not trying to even be nice today to people, man. You know, for real, because we at a point where we gotta stop being nice and we gotta start being necessary. You feel where I'm coming from? Even the family members, friends, all that. Everybody gotta get held accountable, man. Everybody. This is a way to figure out how long your relationship will last with these people out here. Everybody.
Around you?
No, I didn't really. I wanted to help the woman. She had problems. She really had a problem.
Now they got Trump on the phone. Now they're gonna ask him about how he felt about them associating his name with Project 2025 again.
Problem. You know, it was very hot, close to 100 degrees. I'm going to be in a pretty hot place today, too, from what I just saw in your weather forecast. But she was in trouble. No, I did.
He got sick. He came off his speech and went and hugged the woman and all that.
Really, I didn't think too much about it.
That's just Trump. That's not even scripted. That's just who he is.
I don't want to think about it, actually. I felt we had very good protection.
Mr. President, when you listen to the DNC and all the speeches, they're spreading so many different lies, and we eat, breathe, and sleep this, as you do too.
Obama's a piece of shit, man. I don't know if y'all agree, but Obama's a fucking piece of shit. He's a sellout.
More than we do.
Right.
And you know that what they're saying is wrong, but you don't hear your take. There's no one fact checking. And here is Governor Tim Walz trying to still connect you to Project 2025. Listen.
Some folks just don't understand what it takes to be a good neighbor. Take Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. They're
bitter ass suckers. They got this big mook, you know what I'm saying, who wears, you know what I mean, panties with the dick holes. You know, like they got tampon Tim up here, right? AKA Tim No Walls.
Project 2025 will make things much, much harder for people who are just trying to live their lives. They spent a lot of time pretending they know nothing about this. But look, I coached high school football long enough to know, and trust me on this, when somebody takes the time to draw up a playbook, they're going to use it.
Pedo.
And
Mr. Tim No Walls got a lot of funky actions he's into. You know, I've been peeling the onion back on this motherfucker.
No. If these guys get back,
this is a nasty one, y'all. This is a nasty son of a bitch. This ain't gonna be no Kamala Harris. 4 years of not talking and you don't hear. Nah, this motherfucker right here is ready for the action. You know what I'm saying? Him and Kamala be fighting for the fucking camera like Diddy and Mace.
Back in the White House, they'll start jacking up the costs on the middle class. They'll repeal the Affordable Care Act. They'll gut Social Security and Medicare, and they will ban abortion across this country with or without
all this fear
Congress. Here's the thing. It's an agenda nobody asked for. It's an agenda that serves nobody except the richest and the most extreme amongst us.
All right, so this is your chance to set the record straight. What's your response?
Oh, boy.
Well, first of all, he's a total lightweight, and he shouldn't be even having any access to possibly being president. The guy...
Thank you. That's the Trump we looking for.
He's been a terrible governor. They've had nothing but problems in their state. He has no capability. They call him coach. He's a semi-coach. If he coached some football for a little while, this guy is a lightweight, and he shouldn't have access. And for him to say about Project 25 is disgraceful. They know I have nothing to do with it. I had no idea what it was. A group of people got together. They drew up some conservative values, very conservative values. And in some case, perhaps they went over the line. Perhaps they didn't. I have no idea what Project 25 is, but they use it and they know it. Just like Charlotte's.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and keep on attaching them to this shit. Like, you know, fear-mongering. Fear-mongering. The fuck do we need with a Project 2025? Still got Agenda 47. That's number one. Number two, this is the $6.5 billion man. The fuck do he need to do with something that's going to benefit him in that way? Trump is just fucking, like, flat out just fighting for us. That's all it is. It's the only one that you're going to get that's going to speak this type of English.
Totally discredited. They use Charlottesville. You know, Biden gets up all the time, says Charlottesville. He ran because of Charlottesville. He got run out of office by the Democrats. They did a coup on him, and he's sitting someplace in California on a beach. And because he's in California, it's crime-ridden place. It's not the same place. More people leaving than coming, and all of the things that these people have done. Kamala has been the worst. Everything she touched turned bad. California turned bad. San Francisco, you can't walk into San Francisco. You barely can go into California anymore. It's a state that's in terrible, terrible crime trouble and every other form of trouble, monetary trouble. It's got nothing, drugs all over the place. You go into Los Angeles, you can't walk down the streets. It's a shame between Gavin Newsom, but it was really more Kamala because she was your district attorney in San.
Fucking shame the way they waving that money in front of y'all face too. Just obnoxious. Just obnoxious. You know what I'm saying? The fuck is going on?
San Francisco is unlivable now. Unlivable. 15 years ago, it was the most beautiful city, one of the greatest cities in the world. Today, it's unlivable. It's going to have to be, hopefully, be able to be brought back if that's possible. Kamala, who's a Marxist and a radical left, frankly, she's a radical left lunatic. And if she became our president, if this country...
I agree, man. We just seeing the sneak preview of it. This is like a motherfucker that know they ain't supposed to be in that position, and you have the nerve to try to put them in that position. Oh, she's going to play the game now. How much money we got left? 600 million? Listen, man. I mean, come on. It's easy to buy the media, man. It's easier to buy these people, man. This shit is bought. It's bought. Why you think you see, sir? Why do you think, I mean, think about the positioning that these news people hold. All you got to do is just listen to them, and you can tell who's paying them the fuck off. That's it. Especially when they start kicking that Trump shit. When they start kicking it, you're like, oh, these motherfuckers done got paid off. You think that $600 million ain't getting in these news stations? Knock it off. Knock it off. Of course.
Would turn out to be a big version of San Francisco.
This is the reason Elon had to buy fucking Twitter, y'all.
Or a big version.
I don't even think Elon even gave a fuck about it. Elon is trying to be the new Iron Man. Fuck is we talking about? You know what I'm saying? He bought Twitter as a you know what? Let me get this so my man can at least speak.
Of California itself. So these guys, they talk about that. They talk about all different things that they know are totally discredited. They have a thing with soldiers where I'm looking over the graves of soldiers and saying a horrible thing about dead soldiers from World War I. It was totally made up. It was a made-up story. Confirmed. That was confirmed.
Tell when somebody's telling the truth about some shit that was a lie about them. You can tell. You don't have to be on the person's side, man. The truth is the truth, no matter who the fuck it comes from.
My side of it by 26 people in the military that it never happened. They had one lunatic talking about it, and they use it all the time. There's nobody that loves the military more than me. Nobody did more for the military. I rebuilt the military. They gave $85 billion of it away to Afghanistan in the dumbest and one of the most horrible things that's ever happened, probably the most embarrassing moment that ever happened to a country.
And she was the last one in the room. And she was the last one in the room when that decision was made.
She was the last one. No, she made the decision. She made the decision, and it was one of the most embarrassing decisions. Not, Brian, not the fact that we got out, the way they got out. I was ready to get out, but I was going to keep Bagram. That's one of the biggest air bases in the world. It was 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons. 1 hour away. Very important that we keep it. They left Bagram. The biggest runway, most powerful runways can handle the heaviest loads. This was designed billions and billions of dollars years ago.
Trump is a smart motherfucker, but
we gave him the keys, and now China occupies Bagram. We should have kept that. That was the one thing we should have stayed, not because of Afghanistan, but because of China. And we gave it up. They took the soldiers out before they did. Soldiers first. We left people. We have, to this day, we have people living there that can't get out. 13 great people who I know the families, as you know, 13 great people killed, 45 absolutely obliterated, the arms, the legs, and hundreds of people killed during that day. People falling off planes, many people falling off planes from 3,000 feet up in the air. That's like 3 times the height of the Empire State Building.
President Trump, you're talking about...
So sad to see.
You're talking about
and then
so
I
many...
have to listen to, excuse me, then I have to listen to a lightweight like this get up and absolutely lie, but they all lied. And they mentioned my name. I read where, and frankly, I watched where you said, your group said, you said specifically, I think they mentioned me 297 times. They mentioned the border once. They mentioned crime twice. They don't mention the economy because the economy is horrible. They defrauded the people of our country with the job numbers. You saw that. 818,000 fake jobs they put in the rolls. They thought they could keep it. They thought they were
going to figure that shit out.
To keep those numbers until right after the election when they could announce a revision, but they weren't able to do that because they had a leaker and somebody leaked the numbers. They were fraudulent job numbers, just like they have fraudulent crime numbers. The FBI didn't include New York, Chicago, and Oakland, and a couple of other places that aren't doing so well in crime. If they would have included those numbers.
And the obvious places where they're doing bad. Don't you think as many bodies be dropping in Chicago, Trenton, New Jersey, New York City, don't you think that they would talk about that? That they would at least acknowledge the fact that motherfuckers is dropping like
they're the worst crime numbers we've ever had.
So, Mr. President, let's talk about Chicago. You brought it up.
Thank you.
I had the opportunity. I've been going all over Chicago for years now, but I went to a barbershop and there was a lot of people there. They talked about you. They talked about Kamala Harris stealing the tip plan from you. They say they're open. This is a little bit from the folks that I talked to. Watch.
We've been doing these barbershop tours since '03. And it's really enlightening to hear individuals start to change their political direction. I think it's time that blacks in general need to boost our political IQ. Stop being blindly faithful to a one-party system that does not work for us. So I've always liked Donald Trump.
This is real barbershop talk.
You know, he was an icon for years in our community. And all of a sudden now he's this big Klansman.
What changed?
I think the powers that be saw his potential in our community. If somebody, the Republicans started to come and really communicate in these communities, they'll come to barbershops and they'll start to see we're talking the same language, but they don't know how to communicate. So they'd rather not do it.
So, Mr. President, he says that you got to directly communicate to the voters. Will you be on the ground at barbershops, local communities, talking about the issues that matter to them?
He already do that. He walking in the crowds. He going to the Bronx and making a whole Bronx show out after AOC say that he can't do that. And speaking about AOC, man, right? I'm gonna tell you one thing I don't like about this little J-Lo butt joint, right? Because she ain't got a butt like J-Lo and she talk like J-Lo. This is a problem with me. All of that sass, all of that fake made up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too manufactured for me. It's way too manufactured. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. There's a lot going on out here, man. Double tap the screen. Let's get the likes up, man. I'm just starting, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. AOC. AOC. I thought that was a rapper the whole time. Whole time. Because I call her by a proper name. Just her having a nickname, you know what I'm saying? A rapper name is just out of pocket. AOC. AOC. Double tap screen. Let's get the likes up real quick. Splash. DMW. You already know what I'm in it for. Carrots in the chat. Double tap the screen. Type 1 if you're on the Trump terrain. Criminals take back the New York City subway while police retreat. Yeah, they talk about some defund the police. I'm gonna show you how that work out. I'm gonna show you how they look when they defund the police. You know what I mean? Some of you fucking rats out here. That should be, you know, the most tender. It's always the most tender ones. So-called criminals need police more than anybody. Disgusting. Where's this AOC broad, man? Let me get her. Man, I got the final moments of Saddam and Uday Hussein. Oh, man. Those were some savage photos right there, man. Got it? Do I got it? I'll get that. I'll get that for you. Give me a second.
And I am going to be doing that.
Mo, what up, bro?
I like that guy, and I like those people. And I watched yesterday as you did it. You are doing fantastically, by the way. I watched yesterday as you did the interviews.
You know what? Let me just tell y'all something, man. We missed that old Trump, man. I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. That old Trump. You know what I'm saying? We need somebody to get him mad. See, you know what it is? The Republicans is telling him to speak, to stick to speaking points and shit. I'm saying, man, go personal. Like, let's take it back to let's make this shit what it's supposed to be.
Of you in this room who have known and loved me for many, many years. It's true. The politicians. They've had me to their homes. They've introduced me to their children. I've become their best friends in many instances. They've asked for my endorsement, and they always wanted my money. And even called me really a dear, dear friend. But then suddenly decided when I ran for president as a Republican that I've always been a no good, rotten, disgusting scoundrel. And they totally forgot about me. But that's okay. You know, they say when you do this kind of an event, you always start out with a self-deprecating joke. Some people think this would be tough for me, but the truth is, true. The truth is I'm actually a modest person, very modest. It's true. In fact, many people tell me that modesty is perhaps my best quality. Even better than my temperament. You know,
That embarrassed the fuck out of her. Wow.
Cardinal Dolan and I have some things in common. For instance, we both run impressive properties on Fifth Avenue. Of course, his is much more impressive than mine. That's because I built mine with my own beautifully formed hands. While his was built with the hands of God, and nobody can
He about to toast Hillary.
compete with God. Is that correct? Nobody, right? That's right. No contest. It's great to be here with 1,000 wonderful people, or as I call
Out of y'all, I've heard the most vile, disrespectful, insulting shit about Candace Owens. But I'm gonna tell you something. I feel the same way they feel how about Candace, about AOC. I don't like that one.
a small, intimate dinner with some friends, or as Hillary calls it, her largest crowd of the season. This stuff.
What's that Trump we missed?
This is corny stuff. I do recognize that I come into this event with a little bit of an advantage. I know that so many of you in the Archdiocese already have a place in your heart.
Get the lights up. Double tap the screen. Let's get the lights up. Happy Friday, by the way. Tonight at 11 o'clock, I'll be out on my other channel, MacMean TSTV. Somebody done crossed another line. I'll just be trying to, I'll be trying to keep it smooth, man. I don't want to go personal, but I am though. Because every time they strike at me, I got to go just a step further and show. And then they realize, you know what? I didn't realize I was going to lose my child or my job or get exposed or, you know what I mean? Like,
for a guy
with me
who started out as a carpenter working for his father. I was a carpenter working for my father.
I'm going to get you, suckers.
True. Not for a long period of time, but I was.
So scandalous and evil, all type of little weird Jerry Springer and type of, oh man, I'm sick of them. I'm done.
For about 3 weeks. What's great about the Al Smith dinner is that even in the rough and tumble world of a really, really hard-fought campaign. In fact, I don't know if you know Hillary, but last night they said that was the most vicious debate in the history of politics, presidential debate, the most vicious. And I don't know, are we supposed to be proud of that or are we supposed to be unhappy? But they did say that, and I'm trying to think back to Lincoln.
Look at her face. Look at her face. She knows it's coming.
I don't think they can really.
Hillary. That old ass bitch. Hillary got her funky old ass up on that stage, right? And try to clap at my man Tridum. She got her old ass up on the stage. You let your man get a hand job under the table, take him back, look crazy. You know what I'm saying? Let Obama fuck you. All type of wild shit. Eating babies. Yeah, man. She gonna take this ass whipping though. This is the Trump we look for.
With that. But the candidates have some lighthearted moments together, which is true. I have no doubt that Hillary is going to laugh quite a bit tonight, sometimes even at an appropriate moment.
Can you sense the change?
He about to smoke the fuck out of it. But we're going to get right back to that because I want to tell y'all something. And that's about this whole name AOC. You know what I'm saying? I call her AOC. Right? This one different, man. This one different. But I want y'all.
AOC on the stage. About 6 minutes.
Let's listen to Dana because Dana going to talk about it.
6 minutes. We welcome our good friend, our dear friend. She's got 4 great shows here at Fox.
Up there popping veins out her neck and shit. She didn't make no sense. This is the right tape. AOC's DNC speech did not make any sense. Dana Perino. It didn't make no sense, bro. I could not keep up with this.
Of course, the hit show, The 5, and I'm watching America's Newsroom.
Mice and fetuses. Yo, they had a portable chop shop outside, Mo. Mo, you know what the chop shop is, Mo? Mo, do you know what the chop shop is, Mo? Monster Mo. Let me drop the link for my nigga Monster Mo. Monster Mo might want some of this pack. You know what I'm saying? Because the chop shop, they had a chop shop. They had the chop shop, portable chop shops outside the DNC. No fucking cap. Portable chop shops. Now, chop shop for ladies, that's man language for abortion on wheels. You know what I'm saying? Now, imagine that. Abortions on wheels.
Room every morning.
Are you?
They was pumping that. They must have put at least $1 million into advertisement just for that alone. Zadie's so low. How do they feel about abortion in the UK?
Of course I am.
Thank you.
And I'm going to be on with you guys on
I know,
Thursday.
I'm
AOC. Remember what I'm talking about? This bitch makes no sense.
excited.
And our friend Charlie Hurt is here as well. You know, this is important to me. I was watching AOC, and I thought it was important to run it because I used to say about AOC, she was the Speaker of the House.
I ain't gonna lie, this shit got weird.
Nancy was Speaker in name only. Now, this has now come full circle. Think about this, because here is the sponsor of the $93 trillion radical communist socialist, use whatever name you want, Green New Deal, and Kamala co-sponsored that bill in the Senate with Bernie Sanders, like she co-sponsored Medicare for all, universal health care, which would eliminate private health insurance. That is this new radicalized Democratic Party that they're trying to hide from.
And
Is that-
act like they never was with it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like they steal everything that's good from Trump's campaign, and then they act as if they wasn't opposite of that. This shit is crazy. I'm seeing this. I don't even have no hope.
That why they
I found that whole thing totally bizarre in a way. But first of all, she's a great speaker. She had the crowd hype. For the most part, Democrats always talk over the speakers. They listened to her. And she is a great opening act.
because I was a bartender too. Maybe they'll listen to me.
I
don't
was
know.
a great waitress as well, but it also seemed very disconnected to reality. She was talking as if Biden and Harris hadn't been in office.
Some girls use it as birth control, and she's talking about abortion. That is hard. That is horrible, man. Just fucking terrible.
For the last 3.5 years. She was talking about people having to go back to work because they couldn't afford things. I'm like, yeah, well, when did that happen? Right? And she's talking about immigrant families starting out and how Kamala Harris is their personal. Yes, we know. Yes, that's absolutely true.
Double tap screen. Let's get the likes up, please. Happy Friday to y'all.
She also is talking about how non-college educated workers. Like, well, Donald Trump has all those voters now, and he has the rural vote.
Share this video on Facebook. Share this video in your messages or whatever device you want. Share this shit right now. All right, and go to the top right, hit the 3 dots. That's where the like button's at. Let's get the likes up. All right.
They are now the party
Let's look live.
of the elite. And then she said, President
Trump train.
Trump just wants to do things for his friends on Wall Street. As far as I can tell, he doesn't have any friends on Wall Street.
That's a good point.
I don't
actually.
understand what she was saying. It was a great speech, but it didn't make any sense.
It's a great analysis. Well said. I think they tapped into something that's really true, and that is, I know they're hiding their Hollywood friends. There'll be a few of them here, but not many. I know they're kicking people out of a diner so that they can put their friends in their place rather than talk to everyday people. And I love diners. When I was done closing the bar at 4:30 and cleaning it when I was 17, 18.
You know what? Let's get the McCullough Montgomery, because they on an attack for this black woman. Ever since she went viral for talking the talk, you know what I'm saying, at the RNC, you know what I mean, they've been hounding her down, and probably because of Afro. But I like the way she talked. She studied.
But then once sworn in office,
She blow Kamala up. Kamala gonna get her knocked off if she keep talking.
she created a new generation of informed voters. Yes, Kayla rocks this way, and I'm gonna bring y'all to wherever I'm at so you guys can see why. But if you still don't rock with it, here's what's going on over here, and here's what's going on over there. Now let's have conversations about what you learned in this room and how it differs from what was said in that room. This, I think, is how we're gonna solve the issue of voter apathy. And low level, how we have high levels of voter registration and low levels of voter turnout.
So, Kayla, the Atlanta rally that we were talking about, where you introduced former President Trump, a few days before that, he spoke to the National Association of Black Journalists.
Somebody gonna call in and she gonna destroy the ass.
But Black people. So for her, additionally, last thing.
Hold up. She hit a crucial point.
While in office, we saw bills signed for Asians. We saw bills passed for migrants, which primarily affect the Hispanic community. We saw bills passed for literally everyone but Black people. So for her, additionally, last thing, after she took that oath of office, she went on record to say that she was the first South Asian vice president. At no point in time,
oh, she coming in hot. It's that afro.
did she promote her Blackness. At no point in time does she acknowledge her Blackness. At no point in time does she market herself as a Black woman. And that was when she was.
Whereas the Grizzly Bears in the house, that's my man Hatch, y'all. He says Team Harris. Funny that we have not heard a word from that woman. And yo, you know what? I have not even had a conversation that started that was ever initiated by her name. Never had one conversation. I asked everybody I know, and I haven't had one conversation in 4 years. I've never said, hey, guess what Kamala Harris did? I never said that. And if you said that, then you're a special person. You know what I'm saying? Team Harris. Now he says fuck RFK. RFK, I don't understand. You know, look, I listened to his whole speech. I can't really take too much of it because his voice is crazy. You know what I mean? But he's endorsing Trump and he's out of the race unofficially.
Was Attorney General. That's back when she was.
And I say unofficially because he says that you can still vote for me, but I'm not actively running. I don't know what the fuck that means. But to have RFK, you know what I'm saying, jump the Democrats. I tell you, you never ever will see a person that's conservative turn liberal. You'll always see liberals turn conservative.
DA, that's all the way into.
Hatch, hit the link, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let's build.
She was senator and, of course, as vice president. So the fact that
31 felonies, damn, that's one less than me.
Again, she's using this Black card during the election season just so Black people will turn out to vote for her. And then she will, if she were to win, she would be in office and then fail.
You know what I love about my chat? That I got like one of my best friends in life is a fucking whole Democrat. Man, this nigga had me. You remember Hatch? When Obama came into office, we was like out there really. Yo, Hatch was like, vote or die. Hatch was always with the shit. And the reason why I have so much respect and love for my brother on this side is because I know what he fights for. I know he fights for the people. Just like my boy Black to the P. Fights for the people. Fights for the people. But I think that we pinpoint or we streamline our focus on different things. Like I was one of the dudes that was telling people vote. I was online. I remember when this was on Harlem River Projects. They was having the vote the thing over there, right? Hatch was one of the motherfuckers that was on the line, like telling people, yo, go vote, go vote, go vote, right? So he's active. He has a voice over here. It's my right hand man. But Trump, I'm voting for Trump. I'm sorry, that's it. Trump train, you're on that Trump train type one. You know what I'm saying? All opinions is welcome, long as it's not disrespect. Double tap the screen, get the likes up, share this video because we about to go there.
Those same Black people who did everything in their.
And I take it, and just for the new people that don't really know me, I take it like this. This is how I look at it, right? They by default, they've been getting our vote forever. They've been promising us shit forever, but they don't give us nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I find it disrespectful. I find it an insult to my intelligence, right? To act like you did do something when you know you didn't do anything, when there's no record of you doing anything. Plus, furthermore, the reality of my people, you know what I mean? Like for real, the reality we sit in. Outside of the people that was government workers, you know, people that was government workers, them the only ones I ever seen under the Democrats get any sort of stimulus or anything to motivate the citizens, you know what I'm saying? Or to really empower the citizens in any kind of way. I'm for the people. The Democrats is against the people, and that's why I'm hardcore MAGA.
Their power to get her in.
I will never, ever, ever subscribe to the motherfuckers that ran this country during the Civil War. Like they fought to keep slavery in place. So even though people say the parties have changed and shit like that, it was never a conservative idea, right, to enslave people. We was always against that. We was always, historically, we was against that. The first 15 presidents were fucking Democrats, feeding our kids to alligators and raping our people and all that shit, and then fought the rest of the fucking country to keep slavery alive. You know what I'm saying? Now that's the history. You know what I mean? But again, the history might not directly affect my family. Inadvertently, yes. You know what I mean? But today, right, ain't nothing in this country preventing me from doing whatever the fuck I want to do. You understand me? Including have my own state of mind or ideology when it comes down to politics. I think in some way, if you don't understand political science, you won't understand the corruptness of the entire system. That's why y'all can get caught up in Trump. Fuck Trump. I hear more of that than anything. I hear more of that than anything policy related or anything that's going to affect me. You know what I'm saying? I know the Democrats is talking about kids should be able to love whoever the fuck they want and be whoever they want. I hear that language. I don't like that type of language. You know what I mean? Sir, there was a party switch in 65. Do your homework. Eat my dick, Timothy. How about that? I already did my homework. You uninformed. Don't shoot him, though. Let him talk. Right? But don't disrespect me. Assume that I did my homework. Who give a fuck about what you talking about? I'm talking about the Civil War play, y'all. I'm talking about that. We just had a whole class on this shit over here. Things I didn't even know. That I'm sure you probably didn't fucking know. That's like your child coming to you right now. I'm like, Dad, can you tell what's 3 times this on the integers? You don't know because you ain't been to school in forever. We refreshed our data banks over here. We did a whole course on the Civil War. Democrats was foul. So what? They had a party switch. They wasn't the ones in 65, right? That was feeding motherfuckers to alligators in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Do your homework, motherfucker. On Nat Turner. What possessed a religious man to turn around and go kill a bunch of white people? It was the reality that they was living in. The real slavery. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Did y'all not know that the fucking Republicans were invented to fight against slavery? Thus, Abraham Lincoln. Oh, they gave him a problem, bro. Salute to General Grant. Because General Lee was tearing shit the fuck up. And guess where the capital was? Even though they say Indiana was the capital, Indiana wasn't even a part of the situation back then. It was Virginia. Right in Virginia was the stronghold for slavery. They said, you know what? If we could take over Virginia, we'll be good in the rest of the United States. Your man General Grant was putting their ass in. Ulysses Grant was smacking them. But General Lee, what was General Lee fighting for? He's fighting for slavery. Them niggas was fighting to keep that shit alive. Oh yeah, it was even. It was like 22 states. 11 states for it, 11 states against it, and then it just went crazy. Civil War. That shit lasted a while too. All the motherfuckers in the South was like, yo, we losing. Let's put some guns in these black people. Oh, hell no. In the North, they armed the black people, put them on the front line, let them go get blown up. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to be American. I'm telling you, man, bloody time. But it's this woman's afro that makes her so smart. Watch.
I think that's disgusting. I think that's unfair. And I think that that's why I personally reached out to the Trump campaign and asked if I could speak, because I'm like, you guys might be offended when he says it, but what are you going to do when I say it? Because
badass generals back then, they was taking regular citizens, because you got to remember, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have no, that's how they was building their armies. They was just getting regular citizens, arming them motherfuckers up. Hey, yo, and then you know what's so fucked up about their guns? They only could shoot 4 bullets and like 4 bullets and I think in a minute. They had to put the ball in, you know what I'm saying? No freaky. Put the boom, boom. Shit was wicked back then. You know what I'm saying? When they came with those new guns, oh, the North tore shit up.
At the end of the day, I am a black woman. I've lived a black life, and therefore I pay attention to politics. So I was actually
muskets
excited for her when she ran for president.
You're angry with the wrong side. No. if they were bad in the 1700s, they switched to 65 during the civil rights movement. Okay, I think that you just need to study a little bit. Tim, you cool with me, Tim. But everybody else over here, their patience. You know how some people got short fuse. These people in this chat, they ain't got no fuse. Please don't disturb me. You want to talk? Hit the link. The link is pinned at the top.
First time. Just the fact that she was in the race, I was like, okay, HBCUs, do your thing. But she never acknowledged said HBCUs. In the first 100 days of the administration, they cut funding to HBCUs. She did nothing to support the very people that she's now leaning on to win this election. And I wish that those same people would understand that if they were to support her in this election, and she does win, we will see nothing but a repeat of the last administration in which Black people, the same people that everybody touts when it's time to get elected, will also be the ones that are the first to be forgotten about once they're sworn.
Thank you. That part. I just said that. The first ones to be forgotten about.
But a repeat of the last administration in which Black people, the same people that everybody touts when it's time to get elected, will also be the ones that are the first to be forgotten about once they're sworn in.
Michaela Montgomery, also at that Atlanta rally and at a news conference the week before, former President Trump attacked Georgia's popular governor, Brian Kemp. I want to show you
how she served this motherfucker up that calls in.
A segment of that and then have you respond to it.
He's the most disloyal guy.
Let them talk in the chat, man. You know, if they got opposing views, as long as they not nasty, they could be challenging, but not nasty.
I think I've ever seen. But think of the wife. We can never repay you for what you've done, sir. We could have never won. And now she said 2 weeks ago that I will not endorse him because he hasn't earned my I haven't earned her endorsement. I have nothing to do with her. Somewhere he went bad. And you know what? Your numbers.
Tap screen. Let's get the lights up, please.
In Georgia are very average. Your crime numbers, your economic numbers, all of your numbers, you're very average. You can do a lot better, and you'll do a lot better with a better governor. You can do a lot better, just so you understand. But I don't want her endorsement. I don't want his endorsement. I just want them to do their job for Georgia. And you know what? He's the governor. He ought to support his Republican Party, because if he doesn't have his Republican Party, I could tell you where he came from, and it wasn't good.
Michaela, your response to that.
They're legally robbing you, and it's happening every time you pay for car insurance. Here's the deal. A big chunk of your monthly payment isn't even for insurance. It's just paying the agent's commission. Crazy, right? But there's a way out. I found the website Auto that cuts out the middleman completely. No agent, no commission. The results? Liability coverage for just $18 a month. Full coverage for as low as $28. That's it. I've put the link below. Click and see how much you can save. Stop letting them rob you. It's time to keep your money where it belongs, in your pocket.
I took two things that I love, dancing and dogs, and I made them into a successful business. Hi, I'm Ronnie. I'm the owner of Ketatov, and I teach people all over the world how to dance.
My bad.
Well, I feel like that Trump and Kemp had a personal relationship, a personal friendship. And the media, the current, I guess, narrative is that
86,000 seconds for you, buddy.
That Trump called Kemp and asked Kemp to fine 11,000 votes. It wasn't until this rally that I understood that that's not how the call went. The call was actually, can you make the call to start an investigation to see if maybe some votes had been lost? So I could understand why Trump, who used his political prowess to help Kemp get into office, would be offended at the fact that Kemp would not help him at least investigate something that he felt had gone wrong in terms of being reelected. So I don't see anything wrong with Trump personally feeling attacked or feeling like Kemp was disloyal for not making the call to start an investigation. Additionally, he spoke in Atlanta, and as a resident of Atlanta, I can speak that our crime rates are rampant. I can speak to the fact that people don't want to go out anymore because they fear getting shot or they fear their cars getting broken into. I can tell you that kids no longer walk to the park or go hang out at the bowling alley or the skating rink or anything like that, because crime legitimately is an issue here. Now, what more can our governor do about it? I honestly would not know, because that seems more like a mayoral issue. However, of course, Kemp can get up and shine a light onto the things that are happening in Atlanta and the surrounding cities in Georgia, of course, where they might be facing similar problems.
Right.
So while I myself haven't, received I haven't had a bad experience with Governor Kemp myself, I'm not going to act like I don't understand why Trump would get up and talk about his bad experience with Kemp. And additionally, the Republican Party is all about loyalty. So it kind of does make you want to say, yeah, it is pretty interesting that
I'm starting to follow up.
that a Republican governor would not support the Republican Party's nomination for president. I can understand why Trump was upset that he did
Look in her eyes and tell she believes what she's saying.
not get an endorsement from the two people he endorsed and helped get elected.
And this is a comment we got on X from Eric, who says, if you want to understand the...
Well, you know something? I agree. I think we should have to take some kind of aptitude test to be able to vote. ID is not enough. I agree.
problem Trump created for himself in Georgia. Today on the radio, 9 out of 10 callers are women, and they're all mad at him for attacking Brian Kemp's wife. Let's go to calls now. Kayla.
Man, 300,000, from what I heard, votes from dead people. So the fact that they're still in office is treason in itself.
Charlie's in Jonesboro, Arkansas, Republican. Good morning.
Now watch this.
Hey, I just wanted to ask you a little question about referendum voting. I think if we could vote on things ourselves, like this war in Ukraine or something, we could have some say in it. And at least this voting on John Smith or George somebody, it doesn't matter who they are, they're not going to represent us. They'll get paid off. We have no say. This is an illusion of a democracy. And I also wanted to say, I think Donald.
Of course, there's going to be some sort of problem during election day, Splash, because they said you can see them. They're trying to move the goalposts right now, Splash. Double tap the screen. Let's get the lights up. Hibaro, you are right to take a test that shows a person knows the basic geopolitics and local government at least, or crash course at least. You know what I mean, like a 5-minute test or something.
Trump's a wonderful person, a really good man.
You know where you're at least.
I'd like to hear what you think about.
I mean, that movie, Gangs of New York, man. I swear to God, Gangs of New York, man.
The Mar-a-Lago visit and how he is personally. I just, since we can't have any say in our own government, I think he is the answer.
All right. Michaela Montgomery, any comment on?
Just grabbing any old sucker from the street, drunk bum. Come on, let's go. And they was putting them through the army. I heard they're trying to give these illegal immigrants the right to police us now. You know what I mean? Like, let them take the
referendum voting.
I agree. Much like President Trump always says, they're not trying to stop. They're not trying to do something to him. They're trying to do something to us, and he's just in the way. I think referendum voting is something that we should support, because if the public had a say so in funding Ukraine's war, I doubt that the funding would continue. If the public had a say so in do we want little boys competing in little girl sports, I doubt that the Democratic Party would keep pushing that in the name of tolerance. I think that if we had a right to vote on really a lot of the government spending and a lot of the foreign relation things that are going on, if we even have the right to vote,
calling my boy a felon,
vote on the migrant issue, and should migrants have, a clear path to citizenship, or should they have to go through processes like we see in other countries? I think that that's important, and I think that that is something that should be talked about.
And Colin is calling us from Washington, D.C., Independent Line. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call, and thank you for C-SPAN. I lived in Georgia during the 2020 election, and, I didn't vote for Biden or Trump, but I do remember this same sort of rhetoric coming from Ms. Montgomery, trying to claim that, black voters were going.
Oh, he just went bad. He calling her out. Same type of rhetoric I heard from Ms. Montgomery. Here we go.
To change.
Double tap screen. Can we get the lights up, please? Thank you.
Inside the Republican Party, and in 2020, I think the black percentage was like 6% for Trump. So I just find it funny that every 4 years, the same, kind of song and dance gets gets laundered by the Republican Party. And I think it's worth mentioning that, Ms. Montgomery, she was the former city director of Blexit, which is a far right, we're going to try and get, we're going to try and.
Also, she's in, okay, she's tied in with Officer Tatum and Candace.
Quote unquote, free the plantation mentality is a literal quote of the organization of Black voters.
Tanner's do live. And
it's founded by Candace Owens, who's a far right loon. So.
Candace Owens.
I just think it's disappointing when C-SPAN, platforms people like Michaela Montgomery or Sebastian Gorka, or constantly refers to the Washington.
I listened to it, but I think that the audience ain't going to enjoy it. So I gave him the short version of. You might just got here, Kenny. Yeah, I gave him the short version. I listened to the whole speech. It's like 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But it's a very hard listen. If you know what I'm talking about. All right, but the point is that he's dropping out unofficially, and he's endorsing Trump. All right.
Examiner or the Washington Times, which are quite literally far-right newspapers that are made up. I mean, the Washington Examiner, go look up who founds them. Next, you're going to be, referring to the Epoch Times. So,
all right, Colin, we'll get a response from Michaela Montgomery. Go ahead, Michaela.
First of all, I'm a huge fan of Candace Owens, and I went to my first Blexit event here in Buckhead back in 2019. And the speeches that I heard, the visualizations that were presented to me, I was like, wow, this is great. And when it comes to getting off the Democratic plantation, that's a real thing. And I don't know why somebody would feel like I, myself, would be offended by that. If everybody thinks the same, has been fear-mongered into thinking the same way, living the same way, then yes, that's a plantation. Because how in the world were so many slaves who outnumbered their slave masters continuing to be slaves? It happened because they were fearful of doing something different. So when we say that Democrats are on this Democratic plantation, specifically talking about Black people, it's because yes, you guys are all blindly following a leader and you're scared to do something different. Additionally, to think that somebody like myself, who can clearly articulate their points, their opinions, their life experience that have led them to support certain candidates, it's very interesting that somebody would demean C-SPAN for having a guest like me on TV. There's plenty of people who think, act, and wish that a voice like mine had a bigger platform. So it's unfortunate that people like that feel like we should be silenced.
All right, let's talk to Ladley in Marietta, Georgia, Democrat. Good morning.
Yes, I did not know that you knew Candace Owens. Because she's pretty much been outcasted by the right because of her stances on Israel. But anyway, you will have a good job at Fox News at some point. I guarantee you that. And the things you point out on the Democrats for their failures, you're absolutely right on some of the things. The Democrats fall short, but at least we try. The Republican policies are just the complete opposite, okay? The last thing I want to say is they're never going to let you in the club, okay? And you like the movie Django, you are the character of Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know the exact terminology, but not Uncle Tom, but Uncle Tommy, or you're a complete sellout.
All right, and we'll go to Robert in.
Oh, I can't respond to that?
Oh, yes, you can.
Thank you very much. Because first of all, it sounded like that was a non-Black person telling me that. So as a Democrat, that sounds pretty racial and pretty divisive. Next, it's very interesting that I, again, would be called names or be compared to fictional characters because of who I choose to support. Again, these people who are calling and making these derogatory statements about me, who I choose to support, are denying the fact that, again, who are you to tell me that my personal experience is invalid? I think that that's something that a lot of Democrats need to look within, because how have you tried? Kamala Harris is in office right now and has not tried to do anything about the border, has not tried to not tax people on tips, and has not tried to do anything about our failing education system. So everything that she's promising she can do for you on day one, she could do right now, but she's not trying to. So that's something just, for some Dems to take home.
Robert in Aurora, Indiana, Republican. Good morning.
Yes, sweetheart. Miss Montgomery, I commend you, sweetheart. You are telling the truth. I want to tell you a little bit about me. I'm 87 years old. I went for my physical. I didn't pass, but my dad served World War II. My uncle fought the Battle of Bulge. Back when I was a kid, we had Black people working for us. There is colors, black, white, red, you name it, yellow. They ate at our table. They didn't have to go out in a barn or a shed or sit on the porch to eat. They ate with the family. And anybody that wants to do anything for their life, work for it.
That's right.
Work for it. There's jobs out here. They want to put Trump down, and he's worked his. Who would take a shot for this country? Who would take a shot for this country?
Who would take a fucking bullet for this country? Some of y'all motherfuckers wouldn't take a bullet for your own child. All right, double tap the screen. Let's get the lights up, man. We're about to go there.
He wasn't in the military, no. But he did take a shot for this country, and it almost killed him. And you idiots out there that can't see that this man wants to do right for this country. He loves his country. He loves the people.
All right.
Vote for him.
All right, Robert.
This is the world's first reusable cotton swab. It can
9-year-old man can't be telling fake shit. You want to know why? Because he's 89 years old.
I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment that if you want something, you have to work for it. Again, I moved out to Atlanta 10 years ago with 2 suitcases and $1,500. Not an idea what I was going to do. No.
All right. We understand. Before we get too black around here. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now I want y'all to see how my boy JD Vance just beat this. Just showing up to the party. Salute the Officer Tatum catching everything right now. You know what I'm saying? But my man right here, this motherfucker remind me of Yosemite Sam. He be showing up to the party.
What you heard from your counterpart and from the Democrats this evening in Chicago?
You can't put him in a corner. It's impossible.
Well, I think it's an interesting
JD Vance is a whole different type of taco.
contrast, Jake, between what President Trump and I are offering, which is very simple. We are advancing policies. They're going to lower the cost of housing, lower the cost of food, secure the southern border, and raise wages for the middle class. And Kamala Harris really can't run on accomplishing that because her policies have, in fact, caused a lot of the problems and a lot of the suffering that we see in our country. So what you see from the Democrats is instead this argument that if you want to vote for Donald Trump because you want to change the direction of this country, you're somehow a bad person. And I really think that that dark message really doesn't gel at all with the idea that somehow the Democrats are the joyful party. There's a lot of attacks on Donald Trump, a lot of criticisms of what he's done and what he's said, not a whole lot of positive vision for how Kamala Harris is going to fix the problems that plague the country.
Look, the beta juice is Beetlejuice.
That Beetlejuice.
Like they should have a cartoon that's called Beetlejuice. You know how it's Beetlejuice? A Beetlejuice. And this fool would probably be the first character. And, you know, the man said something that I thought was very smart, very articulate, very factual. Jake Tapper should not argue with him on this. It shouldn't even be a rebuttal. You should go on to the next question. But these people are shields for the Democrat Party.
Hey, double tap the screen to get the lights up.
Just listen, I'm going to shut up.
There's also been some criticisms of you. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg this evening spoke tonight. He took aim at one of your past comments from 2021 that Americans that don't have children have, quote, no physical commitment to the future of this country, unquote. I want you to take a listen and get your reaction.
You know, Senator, when I deployed to Afghanistan, I didn't have kids then. Many of the men and women who went outside the wire with me didn't have kids either. But let me tell you,
you still don't have kids.
Our commitment to the future of this country
was so busy biting pillows.
Was pretty damn physical.
It was physical? Yeah, it was physical. All right. You and your buddy in there getting physical. And y'all.
David T says, Alan. He says, Alan. He does not like the way a Democrat, well, it says lie, not like a Democrat does. He'll tell you straight up what he's thinking, and you guys can't handle it. You'd rather have a lie told to you, all sugar-coated. Ain't that the truth? Do your homework, son. Trump had us with the lowest unemployment numbers in history. Gas was $1.29. Some places lower than that.
I didn't have no kids. That's somebody else's kids. All right. I'm just saying. Don't quit acting like you got an investment in the future because now you have kids. Don't quit lying. Y'all don't have no kids. That's somebody else's kids. Two men can't make no kid together. There's somebody kid with somebody else. Or it's one of y'all's kid with somebody else. It ain't y'all's. All right.
What's your response?
Well, my response, Jake, is that Pete Buttigieg has taken a sarcastic remark that I made 3 years ago and turned it into something to distract from the fact that his leadership has seen higher transportation costs, higher fuel costs, and higher food prices for American citizens all over our country. These guys
they say with a straight face at this DNC that prices are down, inflation is down, and the crowd cheers, and all these motherfuckers are struggling. None of these motherfuckers in the crowd seen a full tank of gas in 2 years.
Act so focused on a sarcastic quip that I made that they ignore the fact that under Kamala Harris's leadership, Americans can't afford the basic necessities of a good life in this country. And so I appreciate that Pete Buttigieg pretends to be offended by what I said. I think Pete should be offended by the fact that under his leadership as Secretary of Transportation, the government took in $8 billion to build 7 electric vehicle charging facilities at a time when Americans are paying 45% more for the gas that transports them to work. That's what we should be focused on, and that's what we should be talking about. And it illustrates, Jake, my entire criticism of the Democratic approach here is they're focused on fake issues instead of the real record. And the real record is that Kamala Harris has made this country poorer. Donald Trump made the middle class richer, and he caused a lot of peace and prosperity to break out in this country and all over the world. It's a very simple contrast, and I wish the Democrats would focus on the issues.
There was another comment about you I wanted to get a reaction to. This evening we heard a bit about January 6, 2021.
I give it to Jake Tapper. He is moving from question to question because there's really nothing to say. I mean, J.D. Vance whooping him on here.
One, we saw a video of police officers getting assaulted. Take a listen to what Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin said the other night about you.
And by the way, J.D. Vance, do you understand why there was a
Stay trying to trigger my boy. He's not going to go for it.
sudden job opening for running mate on the GOP ticket? They tried to kill your predecessor.
Do you have any reservations at all taking the ticket, taking the opportunity to serve as a vice presidential nominee, given what happened to Vice President Pence on January 6th?
No, not at all, Jake. And look, I can't help but laugh at what Jamie Raskin said. These are people who somehow always make themselves the victims. Jamie Raskin should be much more worried about the fact that there are a lot of Americans that can't afford to buy groceries, that can't afford to put their children in a nice home because of the policies that he has implemented and he has voted for. I just don't understand a person in American politics in 2024.
I gotta stop calling him Tim Walz. His name is Tim No Walls or Tampon Tim,
who's whining about what happened to them instead of using their leadership and using their influence to make the lives of American citizens better. I have no reservations about taking this job because I know that if we make Donald J. Trump president of the United States, he's going to deliver rising wages, lower prices, and a secure border. That is all worth it for me, whatever the media or Jamie Raskin says about me.
I want to play some of what Governor Walz said during his speech, his acceptance speech earlier tonight, and get your reaction.
Oh,
it's an agenda that serves nobody.
I swear to God, I don't know why I think he wear garter belt.
Except the richest and the most extreme amongst us. And it's an agenda that does nothing for our neighbors in need. Is it weird? Absolutely.
Tampon Tim, that's what I'm saying. I knew.
Absolutely.
I wasn't far from the truth, Sandra.
But it's also wrong. And it's dangerous.
Dangerous.
The Biden administration.
Fear mongering again. Will you help prosecute Fauci?
Your reaction to that?
Well, when Donald Trump was president, Jake, you had people buying homes at record rates.
Tampons in the schools for the boys.
had young Americans who were able to afford to raise a family. You had people who could afford the basic trappings of middle-class life in this country. And so when Tim Walz says that Donald Trump's agenda doesn't work for middle-class Americans, he already was president for 4 years, and his agenda worked very well for middle-class Americans. Again, I just wish, I would love for Tim Walz or Kamala Harris or anybody else to say that during the 3.5 years that Kamala Harris was vice president, here is the thing that she did to make groceries more affordable. Here is the thing that she did to make it possible to raise a family in this country. Or here's the thing that she did to secure rather than open up the border. Because they can't talk about Kamala Harris's record, they're creating a phantom of Donald Trump's leadership. The Donald Trump that I know and that the American people know, I think, produced really good results for the American people. It's a record to be proud of, and a record I'd like to get back to, frankly, because it was good for the American people.
How can you argue with this? I got more clip, so just stay tuned. How can you argue with this? I hear the clips that Jake Tapper is playing, and they have no.
Hey, I want y'all to hear. I don't know if you're into the church and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not particularly into it, but Big Man done went in. Hold on for a second, man. Y'all know who Big Man is? He talked like a old white rancher, but he was spitting some game. He was spitting some game. One thing I can say, he wasn't scared.
Fantastic. How's everybody doing? Good.
One tap the screen. Let's get the lights up.
Very first thing we're going to do, as always, we're going to give thanks to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Are there reporters in this room somewhere? I can't see through the light. It's the mainstream.
Like he give an ass whooping if you fuck up in this house.
Media here. If
I probably would have hated him growing up.
you're here, I want you to hear this. Hear me. I don't care what you say about me. I don't care what you do in your newsroom. I don't care about your plans and your schemes to bring this nation down with your Democratic friends. Why? Because Jesus Christ is still on the throne. You may have your news cameras and your satellites and your 24-hour news, but Jesus Christ holds the world in his hands. And he holds me in it as well. And what he has for me, you cannot keep from coming true. It may not be the governor's mansion. It may not be any political seat, but you will not stop Jesus Christ's will in my life. So I do not fear you. Write your stories, tell your lies, tell your half-truths. But Christ is still on the throne because he lives in my heart and I live for him. I know whatever I need to do on this earth for him.
This wouldn't have worked at the DNC. It was way too much twerking. This shit right here wouldn't have worked.
It will get done. So we give him thanks first and foremost. Guys, all these other guys that come out here and talk to you about the issues, we know the issues. The wide open border, crime on the street, fentanyl killing our children, pornography in our schools. We know about the issues, the failing economy, the precarious place the United States finds itself in on the world stage with its enemies, the horrible, absolutely dreadful administration that is currently leading our nation right now. It is mind-numbing to think that the most energetic, the greatest nation on earth, people seek to come to for that vaunted thing that we have, the freedom and energy and intelligence that we have in this country. And all 350 million people are being led by somebody who just barely knows that they're here on earth. We know what the issues are. But I didn't really come here to go into details about the issues. What I really came here to do, I came here to get something started. See, because we got a problem in this country. We got a bunch of clapper-trap people that sit behind news media desks and want to talk about fake trials for President Trump.
Spectrum Mobile's new deal is so good it's a work of art.
Love the minimalism.
Yeah, unlimited.
Turn the television on, they talk about first one actor and then another actor, talking about all manners of foolishness. talking about MAGA Republicans being the most dangerous people on earth. I don't know. I didn't see any MAGA Republicans on 9/11 blowing up buildings and airplanes. I don't think any MAGA Republicans were over in Israel murdering people. And I don't think a MAGA Republican gave them the money to be able to do it.
Get the lights up.
See, we got folks in this country that don't want to talk about the substantive issues that all of us face. The things that we just talked about, that wide open border, the precarious place we find ourselves with safety and security in the world, on the world stage. They don't want to talk about your pocketbook. They don't want to talk about the fact that your children are in schools where we spend millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for those schools, and the children can't read on the grade level. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the fact that every single solitary policy that they propose and then pass yields horrible results. They don't want to talk about it. Why? Because it proves an essential truth. It proves an essential truth. What is that truth? The simple truth of the matter is this. They call us the right. We sit on the right. And we not only get called the right and call ourselves the right and sit on the right, we are right. We are right about every single solitary issue. When we say, shut that border down and deport those who are dangerous to our country, we are right. When we say, children should not be sexualized, we are right. And this nation knows it. When we say that it's your money, you earned it, you worked for it, the government should not be picking your pocket, we are right. See, we are right. Too many of us are ashamed to be right, though. Some of us, we go to work and folks start talking about politics and start standing up saying, I think Joe Biden's doing a wonderful job. And he's a nice man, because that President Trump is just mean. I just don't like the things that he says. He's just mean and arrogant, and he's a bully. If I hear that one more time, I am going to go crazy. This man is fighting. Let's listen to people he's fighting. He's fighting almost the entire news media. He's fighting all the Democrats. He's fighting all the communists. He's fighting all the socialists. He's fighting all of our enemies across the ocean. And sadly, he's fighting half the Republicans. How is this man a bully? How is he a bully? You see, we hear that at work sometimes. Some of us are a little shy about stepping up, standing up, saying anything. People look at us and say, why are you a Republican? We say, well, you know, my mom voted Republican. I like Ronald Reagan. I think he did a great job, and I like Reagan. And so that's why I'm a Republican. We shy away from the truth. We don't want to look at that person and say, you know, well, wasn't it the Republican Party that was formed to stand up for the Republic? Not the democracy like you see played on the news every day. You see, them folks want a democracy. They want the mob to rule.
Well, this truth hitting different.
They don't want this republic.
P1 salute.
And they don't want Republicans standing up for the republic. You're going to tell them that, yeah, what?
Tampon Tim lied about his service record. We call that stolen valor.
Well, they say, well, the Republican Party is the party of old white men. It ain't coming off. And while we're on that subject, wasn't it the Republican Party that fought a war to free the slaves?
Oh, man, they don't like that type of truth.
How many Jim Crow laws were passed by Republicans?
None. All passed by Democrats.
Wasn't it the Republicans who ended Jim Crow? Then you can take it even further and say, so you're a Democrat. Why are you a Democrat? You know the Democrats were the ones that were in favor of slavery. They were the ones in favor of the Confederacy. They were the ones that created Jim Crow. They are the ones that made the laws, and they are the ones that fought like hell to keep them until they found out a different way to enslave people.
Oh.
Instead of giving them welfare, instead of giving them slave shacks and shackles, they decided they were going to give them welfare checks and the ghetto. You see, there are truths that nobody wants to talk about. Not the news media, not the college professors. I'm getting excited up here, guys. Not the college professors. Nobody wants the front row, y'all.
Do you have a car? Do you have a clean driving record? Did you know you can pay as low as $39 a
He like a Democrat.
Watch out, bro. Woo! Spitting fire up here today. Y'all better watch out. Nobody wants to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it, and you should too. You should run and go tell the good news of why you're a Republican. You can take it all the way back to 1860 and bring it all the way up right now to 2020.
Right.
You look at the states that are run by Republicans. Look at what Sarah Huckabee Sanders is doing in Arkansas. Look at what Glenn Youngkin is doing in Virginia. Look at what Ron DeSantis is doing in Florida and Greg Abbott is doing in Texas. Look at what the Republican legislature in North Carolina is doing and has done since 2010. And while we're on that subject, think about what North Carolina will do when Mark Robinson is the Republican governor.
Whole fact. All right, check it out. Right. They all having some. They showing y'all one piece of the DNC, but they're not showing y'all the protests and all of the shit that's really going on. Like, they just showing you what they want. You know, the paid part of their promo. This is the part that they didn't pay for. Yesterday.
Filmmaker Army Horowitz was there and he took over the microphone and chanted a message of support for Israel.
My name is Army. I got to tell you right now.
All media has
is
to
there a
be behind the
difference
lights.
between Genocide Joe and Kamala Killer? No.
Are you with the media?
And who the people
No,
over there?
let's move back
People
then.
stand behind
You can't
the
be in front of the police.
That's right. I got one thing to say to you people. I'm Israel.
They don't show this part. They don't show this shit.
I'm Israel. I'm Israel. I'm I knew that guy was funny.
Joining us now is Army Horowitz. Army, thank you for joining us. Well done. I don't think I'd be as brave as you to go out there and do what you did. Why did you feel it was so important to take over the microphone, and what was the reaction?
Eve James in the building. Slow, baby girl.
Yeah, there's a very fine line between
My situation.
bravery and stupidity. That might be me crossing over the line to stupidity, if we're being totally honest and between friends here. Look, it was important for me to make a point, a larger point here, right? These are a bunch of, let's be frank, they're not pro-Palestinians. These are pro-Hamasniks. And they have they have a voice here. They're expressing their voice. And I want to make my voice clear as well. They're not just trying to save children in Gaza. Right? Let's be clear about this. That's fine. We can have a conversation about that. Mm-hmm. These are people who want to support Hamas and see the destruction of the state of Israel and writ large, the destruction of the Jewish people. And I wanted to make sure they understood that there are other voices out there. And I sang a very old pro-Jewish, pro-Israel chant. The words meant, "My nation lives." And wanted to make clear they knew that people like us were out there. I wasn't going to let what they are saying stand on its own.
Well done. You've been calling out some of the disgusting anti-Semitic messages that have been spreading at these protests.
Yeah, it's going off. It's going on. Double tap screen. Let's get the lights up. I'll be out here at 11 o'clock. Got a video set on MacMean, TSTV. Yeah, got to sort some personal things out. You know, I got to let these motherfuckers smell my cologne. You know what I mean?
I was in Chicago.
So subscribe to that channel. That's MacMean, TSTV. Subscribers is going up. Get that shit to 5,000 subs.
Tell us about it. What were you saying? What points did you make?
Well, look, one of the interesting things has been walking around Chicago, seeing the reception I've gotten. I would tell you that many
is sharp as fuck.
People here, even if they disagree with some of the things that I say or President Trump say, are still eager to have an open conversation. And that's where I see an opportunity for us, Larry, to reach people who may not agree with 100% of Republican policies, but understand they're against the southern border crisis getting worse. They're against child trafficking in this country, rampant crime, want to stay out of World War III, want to grow this economy. So that's what I focused on today, particularly highlighting some of Kamala Harris's own policies, because I think if she's not going to offer policies of her own, then I think it is fair for voters to attribute to her own policies when she ran for president in the year 2020, calling for a tax on unrealized capital gains, the best trigger for a market crash and a second Great Depression that anybody could think of. Her advocacy for the Green New Deal, a co-sponsor of the legislation, a co-sponsor of legislation to abolish private health insurance, saying that's what she wants to do. This is where we got to be going, I think, harder, Larry. That's what I did this morning. And we hope we won some converts over, which is what we're going to need to win this election.
You know, I'm trying to figure out, I mean, I want to talk to you about crime and the open borders, but I just think it's bizarre. She gives this economic speech, you referred to it, 7 days ago, okay, last Friday. I guess that's 7 days. And the speech has disappeared. It's like an existential memory hole has been created. And this speech fell into it, and no Democrat is willing to talk about it. No one in this entire thing. And you've got all the stars, right? Obama's and Chuck Schumer. And last night, Bill Clinton to talk some sense to the Democrats, but he wouldn't do it either. Nobody would do it. I don't even know if she's going to talk about her own policy. So bad now that the Trump campaign is having to fill in the blank policy pages of Kamala's own website. I mean, I don't understand this. She gives a speech and no one talks about it, but it's $2 trillion of crazy spending, work disincentives, going to jack up housing prices, and of course, price controls is pure insanity, as you well know. I don't want to belabor the point, but it's just, don't you think that's sort of odd? And don't you think the public may be noticing this?
I think the public is definitely noticing it, but the reason it's not particularly odd, Larry, is it tracks their incentives. Kamala Harris does her best as a candidate, a presidential candidate in 2020, as this time when she is not talking about her policies. The more she actually talks about her policy commitments, the less voters actually like to vote for her. The more she cultivates a vibe and a persona that's not tied down by policy, the better she tends to do. So you see her dip her toes into the policy debates with her grand economic idea that she unveiled, the Nobel Prize winning plan, perhaps, to control price gouging in the grocery market with price controls. She didn't get a great response to that. That was actually the first thing that burst the bubble of the honeymoon period that Kamala Harris has been in. And so the reality is she kind of learned her lesson. It's like a Pavlovian training, teaching her that, okay, the more you talk about policy, the dog bites back. You say you don't want to do that anymore. That's why she's retreated. And I expect her to stay as much away from substantive policy for the rest of this race as possible. We got to be ready for that, which means it's our job to make sure that we use her own actions, legislation that she's supported, back against her. And most importantly of all, Larry, offer our own vision of who we are and what we stand for. That's our only way to win this election, and I'm confident that if we do, we will win decisively.
You know,
well, you know what? The money blinds motherfuckers. Let's just keep it real. And let's not act like we don't see that the money's blinding the people on the left in a major way. Because think about how star-studded this shit was. This shit is bigger than the fucking Def Jam concert. You know what I mean? They had everybody. Obama was up in it. Obama's mama, Obama's wife, Bill Clinton wife. Everybody.
But I won't subject you to it because this next bit is even.
This one said the lefty, Kamala tries to speak without an audio cue.
Better. Remember
Terrible.
Don Lemon before CNN sacked him.
The whole speech was about how good she is.
He's back doing vox pops and being laughed at by the good folk in Jersey and Atlantic City. First, he tries to shame Trump backers by suggesting they're sexist.
Who do you support? Trump. I plead the fifth. Trump for the win. Tell me why. I can't really call that right now, but I just feel like she's not good for president. She's good vice, but not for the actual lead role for the country. Does it have anything to do with being a woman? No. No, because I feel like women, nah, you're not going to give me that. Your money's on Harris? Yeah. Who do you want? Trump. Why don't you like Harris? She don't have any experience. She's the vice president. She's a senator. Yeah, no experience. No.
It doesn't get any better when Don talks to women.
Well, I want Donald Trump. I just feel we need somebody that has a stronger background with the military and the world in general.
She was a prosecutor and an attorney general and a senator and a vice president.
Is it there to learn what voters think or to lecture them about why Harris is better? This next interaction is frankly bonkers.
4 years ago, it was a lot better. I made a lot more money than I do now.
I know you feel that way, but that's not actually what the record shows. The economy is actually better under Biden. No, I'm serious. That's what the facts show.
Okay, you know what?
No.
Imagine telling a grown man he's wrong about being better off 4 years ago because Don's figures say so. No wonder they laughed in his face. That sort of form will see Don Lemon elevated to the Lefty Losing It Hall of Fame. And here's one last clip from his time in New Jersey.
Trump or Harris? Trump. That's who's going to win. That's who's going to win. Who you support?
I support Trump. All the people that came to this country legally, it's not fair that they're letting all 10,000 to 15,000 people or 20,000 people here illegally. Did you know Biden was flying them in? Did you know Biden was flying them in?
I got to get out of Atlantic City. Where are we going to next?
Now watch this totally authentic interaction between Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They won't do any interviews, but they will provide content like this. Here, Tim worries that his white guy tacos, his words, not mine, he worries that his white guy tacos won't be spicy enough for Kamala.
Like I have white guy tacos and
what is
like
that?
black,
Like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
pretty much ground beef and cheese.
That's
and
okay. Do you put any flavor in it?
No.
Oh.
Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota, you know?
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
I'm trying to expand my food knowledge.
Oh dear.
Terrible, she ruined it.
Now here is the real Kamala in the...
Double tap the screen. Let's get the lights up. Get them up to 100. You can't. If you double tap the screen, you don't see a big thumb pop up on your screen. Then you go to the top right, hit the 3 dots.
Days before every word was carefully scripted. Now, I've heard her say some crazy things, but surely she would never snatch a patent.
I will snatch their patent so that we will take over. And yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. It's the question is, do you have the will to
I'm
do
trying
it?
to tell you, man. We about to put a whole cocaine. Like, look how she play with that nose all the time. Watch, she gonna always go for it. Like Tony Montana. Watch.
Yes, we can do that. It's what.
I'm telling you.
Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that.
Don't give your own coke vibes.
Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. It's what.
Now you're not gonna be able to unsee it. Look at her eyes, like she coked up out her mind. I'm gonna tell you something, right? Now every time you watch Kamala, you're gonna notice that. Cause I pay attention. What the fuck are you talking about? Bro, it's totally irrelevant. That's why I get millions of views for talking the same shit, right?
Yes.
Oh, I think he's talking about Bush.
Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. It's the question is, do you have the will to do it? I have the will to do it.
You just got them slopey vibes. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I swear to God, look at that face. I swear it look like she get fluffy. And I'm not playing. Anybody from the hood know what I'm talking about. Look at that look in the eyes.
That it's the question is, do you have the will to do it? I have the will to do it.
She's got the will, people. Watch out. How very communist of her. Now, back to
I'm pretty sure somebody's saying that by now because she's always sniffling, grabbing her nose.
CNN, and yes, they are among the Democrats' most enthusiastic propaganda outlets. Here they are telling the American people to forget about the high prices, the illegal immigration crisis, crime. Just feel the joy. There's so much joy.
Word.
Brian, go ahead. I think Trump world's jealous of the joy right now. There's so much anger coming from Trump's speeches.
Word.
Joy is real and it's important. People can make fun of it and say focus on the policy. But if you ask
joy,
political scientists and psychology
he's saying that fuck the policy, let's focus on the joy.
professors, they'll tell you the emotions matter in politics. Yes. Sometimes they matter a lot more than the policy.
Word. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm hearing this shit from so-called intelligent people.
It's real and it's important. People can make fun of it and say focus on the policy. But if you ask political scientists and psychology professors, they'll tell you the emotions matter.
I want y'all to listen to what he just said.
Joy. There's so much joy.
Brian, go ahead. I think Trump world's jealous of the joy right now. There's so much anger coming from Trump's speeches. Joy is real and it's important. People can make fun of it and say focus
joy
on the policy. But if you ask political scientists and psychology professors, they'll tell you the emotions matter in politics. Yes. Sometimes they matter a lot more than the policies. And that's, I think, the big story this week.
Yes, Brian. If you ask political scientists and psychology professors, they'll tell you emotions matter. The Nazis knew that too. They love the joy message. Theirs was strength through joy. And their propaganda arms were just as enthusiastic about gaslighting the nation. And talking about gaslighting the nation, here is our own national broadcaster, the taxpayer-funded outlet that receives more than $1 billion of Australian taxpayer money every single year. And just watch and marvel at this completely fair, balanced, and not at all hysterical rant from one of the ABC's highest paid journalists.
But Donald Trump poisoned American politics in a new way. He's clearly taken America to a dark place. Do you also hold him responsible for the dark place that he took your family to with the terrible attack on your husband in your home?
Yep, that was Sarah Ferguson last week interviewing former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. The Trump derangement syndrome remains off the charts of the ABC, and Ferguson and her overpaid, underworked team seem to have learnt nothing from their previous failures. Remember the three-part series we were treated to on the Trump-Russian collusion hoax? Yeah, they've learned nothing. Though Kamala refuses to do an interview, she did, for just a minute, answer a question without the benefit of an...
She ain't answer no questions. She didn't get no votes. She got a bunch of money. This is like a bitch that done bagged a fucking cartel leader. You know what I mean? She just spending. She remind me of Sharon Stone in Casino.
Auto cue, and it did not go well. Here she is asked about how she plans to pay for these policies she's announcing. See if you can work out the phrase her advisors have clearly drilled into her head.
In terms of the tax credits, we know that there's a great return on that investment. And when we increase home ownership in America, what that means in terms of increasing the tax base, not to mention property tax base, what that does to fund schools, again, return on investment. I think it's a mistake for any person who talks...
Better not sniffle and grab her nose right now.
...about public policy to not critically evaluate how you measure the return on investment.
Return on investment. In the full clip, she said it 4 times in about 40 seconds. It's like a kid cramming for an exam. Just keep repeating it until it sinks in. And the Democrats' National Convention has started and shops are boarded up, police are out in force. But the real lunacy is...
I want y'all to see this dude.
If Kerr was talking about dignity and truth. And here we see that sort of glorious dignity of Biden repeating verifiable lies to sow racial division. And in doing so, he even invoked the name of his dead son. It's not very dignified in my book.
And chanting the same exact anti-Semitic bile that was heard in Germany in the early 30s. Neo-Nazis, white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan. When the president was asked what he thought had happened, Donald Trump said, and I quote, "There are very fine people on both sides. My God." That's what he said. That is what he said and what he meant. That's when I realized, had listened to the admonition of my dead son, I could not stay in the sidelines. So I ran.
So dignified, so truthful, so full of joy. That demented diatribe was, of course, devoid of fact. We told you that years ago. It's all on video. The fine people hoax is just that. Trump, Nazis and racists unequivocally.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly.
And yet, years later, Democrats from Biden down continue to push that dangerous, divisive lie, even after President Trump was almost assassinated. It's beyond despicable. But Steve Kerr thinks it's dignified and full of truth and unity. Now, old Joe also seemed confused because he credited himself, and particularly Kamala, for reopening schools during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, Kamala and I helped states and cities get back their schools back open.
Kamala helped get the schools back open? Really? Do the Democrats think we have forgotten they ran attack ads against Donald Trump for wanting to reopen schools? Remember this?
Desperate to reopen schools because he thinks it will save his re-election.
We have to open the schools.
Critical shortage of PPE.
Threatening their funding.
When they don't open their schools, we're not going to fund them.
Ignoring how the virus spreads, risking teachers and parents' lives, going against the advice of experts.
It's had very little impact on young people.
Trump was 100% right there. The virus had very little impact on young, healthy kids, and schools should have never been closed. And that was only one of the many, many verifiable lies uttered on the DNC stage by Biden and others. Indeed, the whole thing seemed to be less about Kamala and Walz and the Democrats' vision, and really all about Trump, Trump, Trump.
Trump, Donald Trump,
Donald Trump,
Donald Trump, Donald Trump,
Donald Trump,
Donald Trump, Donald Trump,
Donald Trump, Donald Trump,
Donald Trump,
Donald Trump, Donald Trump,
Trump, Trump.
Who in the hell does he think he is? Who does he think he is?
Indeed, there was very little said at the DNC.
Word. Let's not forget about Obama. Who? Obama. Smacked your mama. Okay. Well, I'm just having some fun real quick. You know what I'm saying? I got to get to business. I got to holler at my boy Aunt Millie after this.
Obama.
The truth is, Donald Trump sees power as nothing more than it means to his ends. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help him and his rich friends. He killed a bipartisan immigration deal written in part by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress that would have helped secure our southern border, because he thought trying to actually solve the problem would hurt his campaign. He doesn't. Do not boo. Vote. He doesn't seem to care if more women lose their reproductive freedom, since it won't affect his life. And most of all, Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them.
It is.
Between the real Americans, who of course support him, and the outsiders who don't. And he wants you to think that you'll be richer and safer if you will just give him the power to put those other people back in their place.
Hash, we put this in play.
Yeah. Again, guys, this information is readily available. You can look this up. He is lying through his teeth. I will admit, Barack Obama is a handsome man. He's a handsome man. He's well-spoken.
Eloquent.
Very eloquent. Yes.
That's what Biden said.
Yeah. But he's a liar. He is lying. And I really hope people research this information because it's easily available. I want to acknowledge our super chatters before we fact check this. Thank you guys so much. All right, who do we have here? Let's see. All right, Big Dog. Yes, thank you so much. Says, really don't understand the fascination for the Obamas, but we can't be fooled.
Good, they're eloquent. They have achieved the American dream, the same dream that all of their policies will basically work against the people that they claim that they want to help. This is ridiculous. This is it's beyond stupid. It's angering. It's frustrating because these people, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and by extension, the Obamas, could really be back in the White House.
Yeah, they could. Because I hope people are paying attention and will demand substance, behind this fluff that they've been giving us over the last 3 days. I want to dig into this because the lies that he told need to be corrected. So firstly, he talks about the tax cuts. Yes. He says Donald Trump is power hungry. He said that his tax cuts only benefit the rich and his rich friends is what he said. That is a lie. Data produced by the IRS has shown that on average, all income brackets benefited substantially from the Republicans' tax reform law, with the biggest beneficiaries being working and middle-class income filers, not the top 1%, like he insinuated. Also, he claimed that for this immigration thing, he claimed that the congressional bill proposed by what he says a Republican was Trump was against it, and that would have been immigration reform or close the border. That is a lie. That bill that Trump was against and many Republicans was against, thank God it didn't pass. It was awful. It would not have curbed illegal immigration. It would have actually just provided cover to make it more people come in.
And wait a minute, one more thing, KJ, about that. When Biden got into office, one of the first things he did, except for, in addition to squashing the Keystone oil pipeline, he got rid of Trump's immigration bills or policies that allowed immigrants, illegal immigrants to come in. That was, if you want to call it, there were fewer illegal immigrants coming in when Trump was in office because of his policies. But just because Trump had the policy, they wanted to get rid of it. Another policy that they're lying about, along the immigration lines. When Obama was in office, they keep lying about the cages, with the children in cages. That's under Obama. That was under Obama. You have to separate the children from these adults because you don't know who the parents are, and you have to safeguard the children. These people lie, and they combine so many different things to make it a lie. Again, it's all perception, it's all show. What we need to do is make sure we are informed and save our country.
Absolutely. And again, the bill that they were trying to get passed would not have curbed illegal immigration. Once the bill basically would put a rolling average of 5,000 border encounters per day for a week, or 8,500 encounters in a single day. That was the limit that they were trying to push, which is astronomical. With the way that this bill was set up, it would have allowed nearly 2 million entries per year, which is around double the number of green cards we hand out annually. I mean, that thing was horrible, abysmal, the bill that they wanted to pass.
The bill was going to do absolutely nothing.
Right.
We've already exceeded under his 3.5 years, 8 million people.
Right.
So 2 million a year is less, 6 years or whatever, would have been 8, would have been at least equal. We're already ahead of that now.
Exactly. That's what it was, a fluff bill. It was a nothing bill. It would not have helped to curb illegal immigration. And now they have a new bill, a platform. You guys can go check it out. Did the Democrat?
They ruined it with the immigration. Let's keep it real. Let's move this right along. Because today I'm just playing content, man. I'm just letting y'all see what's going on out here, man. I don't really have much to say today.
Wrong about ivermectin and other things. Now he's at the DNC. Shout out to him for having the courage to actually tell the truth, because most people in his situation come out of the the propaganda, and they just still live in that propaganda in perpetuity. But he at least telling the truth about the Democrat Party. And I have never heard anybody who has been on the left or been supportive of the left actually say the quiet thing out loud. When they tell you that they're going to tax the rich and they're against the wealthy, they're pushing.
The reason why this is important is because it's fucking Chris Cuomo.
An illusion that they're somehow against wealthy people, because they got a lot of wealthy people that fund them, that support them, that raise money for them. They really don't mean that. They are presenting as if they're for the little guy, when everybody at the top of their party is worth tens of millions of dollars.
They all filthy rich, including Chris Cuomo.
Oprah Winfrey, get out there, billionaire. Michelle and Barack Obama together, they're probably worth, I don't know, $500 million. Kamala Harris, them ain't broke. Bill Clinton, them ain't broke. Keep going down the list. Remember when Zuckerberg and all them were all...
Obama was making $165,000 before he became the president. That motherfucker got more than $70 million right now.
Democrats, all of them are multimillionaires, billionaires. These people, Cuomo probably made $25 million on his contract.
Salute, David.
He's a millionaire. All these people are millionaires acting like they know what it feels like to be the little man. Shut the front door. Roll the clip.
All Democrats.
Big theme here at the DNC is that they're going to go after corporate gouging, and they're going to go after corporations, whether it's in taxes, largesse, loopholes. The RNC, we heard the same thing. They're going after the elites, the two sets of rules. Let me reveal a reality to you that has to be spoken to here, okay? These are the soldiers. These are the men and the women that go back to their constituencies and their communities, and they fight. They take time from their jobs. They take time from their families. Republicans and Democrats alike, that's what they do. They need to charge these people up. They need to be able to get them on board. But there's another reality that is literally looking down on them. Greg, look at the ring of sweets, okay? This is not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money.
Shit is disgusting.
When people talk about uniparty, not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money. When people talk about uniparty, we are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's
500,000. It's all the investors up there.
It's like the Cub Scouts of Columbia County, South Carolina, that's up in those boxes. Some of them are lobbies and good things. The media boxes, you think they're free? Why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization. We are corporate media. We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They're literally looking down on the faithful and being told, yeah, we're going to break down on them. We're going to make them pay their share. They paid 500
bands.
700, $1 million, $1.5 million to have those seats. They get hotel suites that are probably gifted to the party. And the same thing is true with the Republican side. And they're going to take them down. They're going to change how it is. They are looking down from on high at the people who make the difference in their communities. And that is the reality of politics. And I had my producer walk around and show you those suites. Now, they're not all the same. They're not all the same. But the reality is, in 2000, they spent $300 million on presidential campaigns. 24 years later, you know what they're expected to spend? $10 billion. Do you know how much money Harris has raised in the last couple of weeks? Hundreds of millions. And that's success. A lot of it's small donor. A lot of it isn't. The most dangerous money in politics is now legal money because of Citizens United. You've got to know this.
Oh.
The idea that they can fight against it is almost laughable.
Damn.
It's almost laughable. So look and listen when you are told these things. Because I don't care what they promise you. Not here tonight, not at the RNC, not that Trump knows them, not that they don't own them. He did one of the biggest fundraisers I've ever heard of in my life out where I live. Millions of dollars a plate. That's the reality of politics.
Thank you for 20 years later for actually saying something about this.
Word.
But look at these numbers. There's individual
penthouse suite, 500,000 for the DNC. Club level suite, 1.5 million. Lower level suite, 2.5 million. Second lower level suites, $5 million.
Individuals that pay stuff like this. There's companies that pay stuff like this. It's all a sham. Don't let them say we're going to regulate the wealthy. We're going to regulate big companies. We're going to raise corporate taxes. They know that it's bullcrap, and I'm imploring you guys to understand the economics here. Read the article from Thomas Sowell, read his books, listen to his explanation. He articulates it very well that when they cut taxes, they get more money into the treasury because people are more willing to pay the taxes. They feel like the tax is fair and reasonable. Whenever they raise taxes, they get less money in the treasury. Although they make you feel like it sound good, although they make you feel like they're going to tax the wealthy. That's because when the tax code it seems to be unfair, wealthy people are not paying that. That's why you get less money in the coffers, because people that got money in these big corporations, they find ways to not pay this stuff. Many billionaires, man, they literally operate on debt. That's how you become wealthy. You use other people's money to make money, and you get a tax. It's not a tax write-off, but it's called you're in debt. So your profit loss for the year is going to be tighter if you're in debt. Let me just give you a quick example of somebody like me, right? I started an energy drink company. I put over 6 figures out of my own pocket into building this company. What do you think I'm going to do my next step? It's either investors, which is somebody else's money, or the bank. Now, I go to the bank and I get a loan for, I don't know, $1 million, which is nowhere near where I'm getting. But just say if I did get a loan for $1 million, I'm in debt to the bank. That's a debt. That's not assets. That's a debt. So I'm already starting kind of at a debt deficit. If I go and acquire a building for the company, or there's other things. I don't want to give away a lot of secrets. And some of this stuff I'm not familiar with as much, and I should be, so I can take more advantage. But these people are not going to raise the taxes on you and get a benefit from big money companies. They're just not going to do it, man. A company will go out and buy a jet for like $6 million or $4 million. Yeah, the owner of the company get to fly a private jet on the company's dime. And you think they know everywhere he travel is for business? You can make business out of anywhere you go. You can make a set of business meaning everywhere you go and travel for your own personal leisure. I guarantee you wealthy people do that all the time. You think the CEO don't have a housing budget or don't have, stuff that the company pays for the cars? You go down the list, man. These nonprofits do the same thing. These people that own these nonprofits, the nonprofit pays for everything that they do. So yeah, their salary is $40,000 a year, but the nonprofit pays for their cars, clothes, everything. Same thing with your local pastor. Oh, my pastor, he only makes $60,000 a year. Well, the church can actually have a house that the pastor can live in. The church can own a private jet that the pastor conveniently can use. You think the pastor pays for his suits? No, the church pays for his suits. It's a write-off. It's an expense of the nonprofit because he has to put his uniform on to perform and do whatever he does. His meals, dinners, house, cars, clothes, everything is covered under the nonprofit.
I started the Elder Justice Unit when I realized that we had a gap.
Disgusting. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. We're at the 2-hour mark. I got people to do things to see. I'll be out here on my other channel at 11 o'clock. MacMean TSTV. We'll be getting to the smoke over there. Double tap the screen on the way out the door. All right, y'all be good tonight.